Hey everyone, I'm Ranger McCormick with the City of Louisville's Parks, Rec, and Open Space Department, and today I'm here to talk about Leave No Trace Principle Number 7. Principle Number 7 is all about being courteous to other visitors you may encounter on the trail. Today we're going to start off with an icebreaker activity. First, we will begin by drawing two parallel lines on a sheet of paper. Then I want you to think of all the outdoor activities that you like doing and draw them in between the two lines. I want you to think of the parallel lines as a trail corridor or a boundary to the trail. While all of the activities you drew in between the lines on the trail may be permitted in that area, the trail is too crowded if they are all occurring at the same time in the same place. My question to you is, what are the implications of overcrowded trails? How do we use trail etiquette when multiple users and activities compete for trail use? Wow, what smart students I have. You're all correct in your responses. Confrontation can definitely occur on a trail when there's multiple users with multiple activities, all trying to enjoy a trail system. Confronting other user groups can result in good and bad outcomes, and we'll cover that a little bit later on. Great response. Can damage to trails and natural resources occur? Of course it can. When you encounter another group on a trail, you may need to move out of the way. This can result in a widening trail corridor, trampling of vegetation, and other natural resource damage. And of course, your experience or another group's experience can be disrupted and diminished by your actions or others' actions on a trail. The dog, as long as he's on a leash and he's picked up after, I'm sure he's having a great time. We'll discuss a little bit more about confrontations now. For this activity, I want you to pair off in groups of two. I want one of you to play the part of somebody who may not be using a trail appropriately. They might be playing loud music, they might have their dog off leash, or they might be not calling out when passing on a bicycle. The other person should play someone who's trying to use the trail appropriately and decides that they want to talk to that individual. Randy is enjoying a nice walk out on the trails when all of a sudden he hears music coming from the distance. Steve is playing music on his boombox while walking on the trail. Randy decides to have a conversation with him. Hey there, do you mind turning down the music? There's a noise regulation here and you can't be playing music out loud. What do you mean I can't be doing that? That's not fair. Well, sir, I think it's just a little bit rude. I'm trying to enjoy my hike and you're out here playing loud music that I don't like. Well, what are you going to do about it? We can see that interaction did not go too well. Randy was clearly upset by Steve's playing of loud music on the trail, and Steve clearly didn't see an issue with him playing loud music over a boombox. Randy confronted Steve, attempting to use the authority of the agency approach. He immediately stated that it was against regulations or against the law to be playing music in that fashion, and Steve responded angrily. He didn't care about the law. He was having a good time. Next, we can see what happens when Randy contacts Steve using the authority of the resource approach. Hey, how you doing there, friend? Do you mind if I talk to you for a second? There's a lot of nesting birds in this area, and that music can really disturb them. Well, I didn't know about nesting birds. That's pretty interesting. Tell me more about them. Well, they nest in this area among the native plants. Native species, my favorite. We can see that experience went a little bit better. It was less confrontational and it used the authority of the resource approach. Randy was able to explain to Steve that there was nesting birds in the area and that his loud music could disturb their nesting habits. He even mentioned that there was native species in the area for plants. And Steve, all of a sudden, was able to mention that he has a great love and affinity for native plant species. Who knows, maybe Randy and Steve continue their walk together talking about native plant species and nesting birds. The authority of the resource approach transfers authority from an agency, a ranger, a badge, or a manager to the natural resource or the environment that you're in. It can be a great educational tool and lead to less confrontation out on trails. However, if you are ever in a situation that is confrontational or something that is beyond your scope or you're uncomfortable with dealing with, always feel free to call a ranger. For our final activity today, we are going to go out to an actual trailhead and put some of these practices into motion. We'll discuss the basics of trail courtesy and etiquette and how they can apply to every trail you're on, whether it's in the front country, the back country, a city park, a city open space. The beautiful Aquarius trailhead. Upon arriving at a trail, it's important to note any signs or regulations that may be posted at the trailhead. Every area may have different regulations or restrictions. As we can see, there is snow on the trail. This means for hard-packed surfaces or dirt trails, any resource damage may be magnified. As we see while walking on the trail, there's several trail intersections, curves, slopes, and all kinds of different conditions on the trail. We don't know who may be around that corner. There may be a cyclist, a jogger, or somebody on a horse. Horses aren't allowed at Aquarius Trailhead, just an FYI. But you never know what you may encounter on a trail, and you need to keep these things in your mind while hiking. While hiking, can you think of any other trail etiquette that may be useful on all trails, front or back country? Remember to keep dogs on leash. This helps protect wildlife from your dogs and your dogs from wildlife, and always clean up after them. Cyclists and trail runners should always call out their intent to pass. Consider hiking in a straight, single-file line if you are with a group. If you need to take a break while on a trail, always look for a durable surface to take a break. If you step out onto wet vegetation, you may trample it or may cause erosion. If you come to an uphill-downhill area where you must yield, remember that the uphill party should be yielded to. If you are heading downhill, you should yield to the uphill party. Thank you for viewing this Leave No Trace Principles video. This was Leave No Trace Principles number 7, Be Considerate of Other Trail Users. Remember to always check your state, local, federal websites for trail conditions, rules and regulations, or any other information before you decide to head out on the trails. And as always, if you have any questions, remember to always contact a ranger. Thank you.